Hello and welcome to this week's episode of I've Got a Story for You. I'm Luke.
And I'm Josh. And this week, we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of telling stories, we'll be telling the truth. And by the truth, I mean a carefully castrated collection of insults towards Luke this week.
Yeah, it's all about me. And not in a good way. I don't know if I want to do this.
I'm coming next, so whatever I say is going to set the tone for the next episode as well.
It's not like you to not come first.
Prick.
I should have saved that for next week.
You should have. So I just want to start off and say, Luke, that I love you a lot.
Oh dear.
And that we've known each other a very long time.
Yep.
But we spent hours doing this over the past few months, and I can't help but at least get a little bit of resentment towards you.
Why resentment? What?
It's not resentment as such, it's just, I guess, you just notice things about people, and this is the whole sort of material that we've got for this week's episode, to be honest with you.
Yeah. To be fair, I've learnt a lot about you over these last couple of months
that
I didn't know before. Yeah. And I think it's made us closer.
Yeah, I could say that. But today, Luke, it is all going to come out, and I did ask your mum to send in some sort of like roast for you, but she refused because she loves you too much.
Yeah, I did. I asked her to send some stuff in. And do you know what she said?
What did she say?
She was like, oh no, I can't say anything bad about you. She was like, when I listen back to this, all I'm going to want to do is punch Josh in his fucking nose.
Oh, wait until she hears what your brother said. Right, let's get right into it then. It's a bit scripted, so I do apologise because it did take me a very long time to make sure that this sounded right, but I promise you this is all come from the heart.
Just a disclaimer before we start. No friendships have been harmed in the making of this episode. I know it all comes from love, and I was quite literally asking for it, so I'm ready.
Okie doke. Right. So first up, let's hear what people have had to say. We asked some listeners and friends of the podcast to send in their best roast lines about Luke. I've got a couple to start us off with, just to set the tone.
Right.
First one is from your friend Becky, who messaged in saying, number 1. She listed them for a start.
Oh, God.
Listening to Luke's podcasts feels like being trapped in a group chat. No one asked you to join. It's like Spotify heard it and asked, are you sure? Then she goes on to say, the show's got more dead air than Luke's love life, and that's saying something, considering his relationship starts slower than a Wi-Fi on dial-up. And she's not wrong with that one.
Fair.
Number 3. Luke's love life is like his guitar solos. Messy, loud, and always ends up with someone crying and regretting everything. Now, I want to know how she knows about this one, because I've had Becky's husband messaging me in saying, I'll say what it says. Hi Josh, why the fuck are you messaging my... No, that's not that one. No, but what he did say was, hey Josh, Luke here, Luke's mate. Now I got a bit confused with that. It threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, Luke, I know Luke very well.
He said, loving the podcast so far. We just wanted to share some thoughts on my good mate Luke. Nothing bad, of course, just giving your audience a backstory on the man, the myth, the legend that is Luke Deakin. Good old little Luke Deakin, the only man who can grow a beard longer than his dating track record. And that's saying something, because both are a tangled mess and bad decisions and regret. And the glasses, yeah, they help him see clearly, except apparently when it comes to red flags. At this point, he's dating walking fire trucks and wondering why things keep burning down. Luke also plays guitar. You ever heard him play though? It's like his love life. Starts with promise and ends in feedback. He's got quite a few. So Luke's love life basically is a sound check. A lot of noise, nothing works quite right, and every girl asking, is it going to take long?
No, it's not actually. I'll be in and out before you even know I'm there.
And then onto something a little bit more light-hearted. Luke works in events, which means he spends all his days building stages so that other people can get attention. The irony. Meanwhile, he's backstage to tune his personality like a busted up amp. No matter how much he adjusts it, it still hums awkward desperation. So that was that. And he just said on the end, on a serious note, he's a bloody lovely lad and his beard is majestic. Much love, mate. With a love heart. So,
oh, bless him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luke and Becky.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sending that in. So, I think it might be my turn. So, I think you need to get a drink. And let's start off talking about your dating life, Luke.
They're all every fucker else has, aren't they?
You've all heard his side of the stories, the charming, misunderstood gentleman version, but I've seen Luke and the director's cut, and trust me, it's not a rom-com. Luke's the kind of guy who sees the best in everyone. He'll give anyone the benefit of the doubt. Right up until he sleeps with them and mistakes their tits for their stomach. That's his emotional cut-off point. One confused grope and he's ghosted them faster than he took a picture of his penis and sent it to him. Now, he did have a relationship with a so-called radical feminist, which never sat comfortable with me, considering his idea of gender equality is making sure that oral goes both ways. We're all equal as long as... We're all equal as long as she's still happy to sit on my face. Luke went through a mum phase, but based on his recent comments on the show, I'm not sure if he was hoping to date mums or trying to get on a register. Luke's the only guy I know who turns up to a date with a fruit shoot, just in case. Then there's the recent cougar obsession. He's given up dating apps entirely and started leaving Werther's originals like bait. It worked, and he pulled one not long ago and described the experience, in his words, not mine, as like holding old leather reins, implying holding her labia whilst doing her from behind. And you just know it's love when she turns to you mid-thrust and asks you to break her hip. I guess that's why Luke turned to older women, because they're more vulnerable.
They can't run away as fast.
Speaking of smashing things, Luke was once involved in a genuine hit and run. And just to clarify, he was the one who hit the motorcyclist and ran. The man had no concern for the motorcyclist. He was just pissed at the fact that his insurance premiums went up. Just like, you know, the woman now resides in a wheelchair and eats through a straw.
Fucking hell.
I've been in the car with Luke, and I can confirm his driving is basically a cry for help. The only reason I can think of why he drives so recklessly is because he likes to play with death, so that he can feel something. Which makes sense, seeing as he feels nothing when he ghosts women on Tinder. He treats women like they're a pick-a-mix, always complaining he's got a cup full of pink piggies. You've been single now for almost 2 years. Just eat the pigs, Luke.
Oh my god.
He's always up someone's arse, which makes me question whether it's bad driving or questioning his sexuality. Every time I'm in the car with him, I make peace with God, and I'm not even religious. I'm always holding on for dear life, but be careful where I touch, because it's guaranteed there's going to be a cocktail of arse matter and semen marinating in his seats. The only time it's... The only time he sticks to the speed limit is when someone fit walks past, and he needs time to perv. Last week, I was so proud of him. He did 15 miles an hour past a primary school. Anyway, let's go. Let's talk about your proper passion, Luke, which is music. You think that owning several guitars makes you interesting and talking point for when you bring your victims round to your flat. I'm going to be honest with you. Collecting guitars, Luke, doesn't make you a rock star. It makes you a hoarder with commitment issues. You're the only guy I know who can fingerpick a melody, but still struggles taking off a woman's G-string. And speaking of G-strings, let's talk about that time you dressed up as Superwoman. Yes, everybody, that did happen. He slipped into a pair of heels and said, "These aren't so bad." And that's still the closest he's ever come to understanding women. Although, let's be real, no woman has ever worn heels with calves that hairy. He's so hairy, in fact, that when he trims his back, he drops at least a stone. And don't even get me started on that beard. It's less facial hair, more an STD conservation park. God only knows how much thrush he's collected in that, with all the questionable women he's bedded. Honestly, that beard has seen more action than his actual penis.
2 doses of thrush, I'll have you know.
Luke loves to travel, and he's been on more holidays than a divorced dad trying to prove he's fun. Except Luke doesn't have kids, not that he knows of anyway. We don't know how many women he's impregnated over the years. It's easily done though, as Luke chooses not to wear protection when he rarely engages in sexual activity. He uses the excuse that condoms are too small and that he's allergic to latex, but we both know you have a limp dick and time is of the essence. He's not worried about protection, he's more worried about staying hard long enough to finish before she sobers up.
Jesus Christ.
But through all the chaos, whether it's his driving, his dating disasters, or the fact his beard has seen more action than his knob, you are still one of my best mates, Luke.
Thank you for those kind words, Josh.
You're very welcome.
There's some factual inaccuracies.
It was only 20 miles an hour past that primary school, weren't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but you should have seen them. There were a group of them.
Fuck's sake. I've got one from Scott as well.
Oh god, here we go.
So, this one's from Scott.
I feel like Luke should put a disclaimer on his Tinder profile to say, if he's in a relationship with you and he doesn't like you anymore, it will take him 3 years to break up with you. And every day he will tell his colleagues that he'll do it soon, but no one knows when soon is.
Yeah. And your point?
I've got a couple from Emily as well.
Okay.
I was a bit disappointed at first with Emily because I asked her if she can send me some roasting, and the first thing that she actually came back to me was, I don't know if it was a dig at me, Emily, but it was just said, "Just followed me for viewer hits." I don't know if that's for you or for me. And then all I got, the message after was the fucking man bun. And then I didn't hear anything.
Is that it?
Well, then she did send me some voice notes, but I'll let you listen to these ones.
I think one of the rules you've got to do about Luke is that every single job that he's had, he's been pulled into HR for, and I quote, no reason. But every single job, and he hasn't realised yet he's the issue. Like, oh, and another one, the fact that, like, this boy has the worst money management I've ever met in a person. And he's sorted it out, fair play to him. But then he's like, the minute he's like, I'm stable and everything's alright, I'm going to buy a Mustang and 2 fucking dogs.
She's got a fair point, to be fair.
Yeah. And then I got one from Liam as well, my brother-in-law Liam.
Luke reckons he's a wedding singer, but halfway through a heartfelt first dance, he'll bust out Wheeler Walker Jr. and scream, "Fucked like a country boy," like it's a love song. Nothing says eternal romance like my nana crying into her Prosecco while Luke dry humps the mic stand. And my nana.
She was asking for it, mate. Can I just say? I think that's where my love for older women began.
Really? What, mine? What, is Nana?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
She wanted to get fucked by a country boy.
Jesus Christ. So, that's all pretty much the roast done. Have you got anything to say about any of the comments that have been made tonight, Luke?
Yeah, actually, I do. For starters, mate, I'm not a paedophile. Okay, so just putting that out there.
Okay.
My driving is not erratic in the slightest. I'm a safe and considerate driver. It's just there's that many fucking pricks on the road that don't know how to drive and they get in my way.
Can you explain the story about you running over that motorcyclist properly?
Oh, that's it. That wasn't a fucking hit and run. You're going to get me arrested, mate. I stopped and made sure she was all right, and she screwed me over big time. It was like it was round Hammersmith in London, so you're never going fast enough to hurt anyone anyway. And I was changing lanes, and she was proper in my blind spot, and yeah, knocked her off. We were going like 10 miles an hour, and all that happened, I just saw him at the wing mirror, and she just fell sideways. And I was like, oh shit. And no damage was done to my car. And the only thing that was wrong with the bike was the foot peg was bent up slightly. So she was like crying her eyes out. And I was like, I've not got time for this. I was like, are you all right? She was like, I do not know. I was like, she was Polish. I was like, are you all right? I said, are you hurt or anything? And luckily, I'd just done first aid training. And I was like, right, I had a look in her eyes. She wasn't like bleeding her out. Her head was fine. I asked her if she could move all her arms and legs. She was absolutely fine, right? She wasn't hurting anywhere. And I said, right, I was like, I'll pay for the damage for your bike because if that's all it is, right, I'll happily do that. It's worth it, so my insurance isn't double for the next 3 years. And she was like, oh yeah, okay, that is fine. I will not... I'm not going to do the accent. She's like, yeah, that's fine. I said, I'll message you tomorrow. And I messaged her the day after. I was like, I'm really sorry. Hope you're all right. Let me know when you get a quote and I'll sort it out. And she was like, oh, hi, Luke. Just to let you know, I've got the insurance company involved because I've broken my arm in 3 places, so I'm going to be off work. It's like, just fuck right off. But that claim's still not been settled.
Is it not?
So I reckon she was like fucking around. And if she's fucking around, then she's made my... I've paid an extra £3,000 over the last 4 years on insurance because of her. Daft bitch. She shouldn't have been there, should she?
She should have been in the car wash with the rest of them.
Oh my... Right, I am fucking keeping that in, you prick.
Oh dear. Right.
Oh my god. So amid all the doom and gloom of this episode and the tragic state that it's left me in, crying in my blanket, we've actually had a listener story in.
Ooh.
From the tail end of our Checky Tokens episode last week.
Wow.
I know.
Who's it from? Do we know?
I don't know. He didn't say, and his email address is just one of them like generic ones that are made for you.
Right.
I've read it through. He definitely sounds like he's from Derbyshire.
Right.
So,
it's like Guess Who, innit?
yeah, I know. I'm trying to think if I know anyone who talks this way, but it literally just describes any of the locals that have been in any of the pubs that I've ever worked at.
Right.
So let's get into it.
Okie doke.
Cue music. So my mate only goes and books a lad's holiday weekend in Prague, doesn't he? Proper buzzing. First night they're out on the lash. Ends up being some dodgy looking strip club. You know, one of them places where the carpet's stickier than a toffee apple at the Goose Fair. Jesus Christ. Anyway, he's had a few too many bevs and decides he's going to treat himself to pay this lass up front for a bit of, shall we say, company. They go upstairs, do the deed, all very mechanical like, not exactly the Notebook, but he gets the job done. Just as he's about to put his kecks back on, in bursts this massive bouncer, built like a brick shithouse he was, starts shouting in Czech or whatever. I'm guessing it was Czech, to be fair. Just putting that out there. But the gist is, you owe more money. My mate's like, hang on pal, I've already paid, but they weren't having any of it. Two of them were now giving him a shove, trying to proper rough him up. So what does he do? Whips his trousers halfway on, doesn't even fasten them up, and legs it out the room, down the stairs, a bollocks nearly out, a Benny Hill moment, past the bar, out the club and into the Prague night. He's legging it down some cobbled back street, still half-dressed, art going 10 to a dozen, and to top it off, he's bursting for a piss. So he ducks under this old bridge to catch his breath, and he lets go. He's there pissing like a racehorse, when he realises something awful. He's still got the Johnny on, and now he's managed to absolutely soak himself. Piss everywhere. Oh, no. All down his legs, in his pants. It's like trying to water your garden with a hose that's still knotted. So now he's stood there, under a bridge in Prague, drenched in his own piss, bollocks chafed to high heaven, and the sound of bouncers still echoing round the cobbles. Said it with the worst tenor he's ever spent.
Oh dear, that was really good, that one.
I enjoyed that.
Please come forward, whoever that was.
I bet his name's like fucking Keith or something like that.
It's definitely Darren.
Used to work at Staveley Works or something.
Down pit. Oh. Yeah, so that was a lovely laugh for such a sad time for Luke.
Yeah, well, don't worry. My time's coming. You'll get yours next week. But first, I've got a lovely week in Croatia.
Croatia?
Yes.
Oh, you're making some money.
Well, this trip has cost me a grand total of £0 so far.
Ah, sound.
I know.
I hope you have a lovely time in Croatia.
No, you don't. You fucking hate me.
I don't hate you. I love you to bits. You're my only friend.
A funny way of showing it. Do you know what threw me off? Is that this has all been your idea. And you just couldn't fucking wait to roast me. We said we'd jump on this call at like 9:30 to record, and you're phoning me at 9. You fucking couldn't wait to grill into me this evening.
No, I actually felt really bad writing all these. And it was really hard because you are actually quite sweeter than sweet. There's not a lot like that you don't do, that you do, apart from touch kids.
I don't do that shit.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you for everybody that's managed to send in some roast this week.
Yeah, thanks everyone. You really learn who your true friends are in times like these.
I'm sure we all love you, unless there's a few people that actually despise you and can't wait to write stuff in.
Yeah, well, I've been bullied literally my whole life, so it's nice to be done it. It's been nice to be bullied by people I love.
Professionally as well, on a podcast that's going out to thousands of people each week.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you for everybody that actually sent in some roasts for Luke. We all love you deeply, Luke. I'm sorry that it was...
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So ruthless. But tune in next week because Luke's going to Uno reverse me and rip the shit out of me.
Yep. Put it this way, Josh. This time next week, you're going to be single.
Fuck's sake. Oh dear. Until then, though, don't forget to send in your listener stories to shameandshenanigans@gmail.com. We are also on X and Instagram. We haven't been banned yet, have we, Luke? Unless you know something different.
No, we are all good on that front.
Fantastic. So, I've been Josh.
And I've been Luke.
And you've been listening to I've Got a Story for You.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.